Welcome to this video lecture. Let us continue about noise topic. So in the first video lecture we understood the basics of probability, statistics, mean, variance, covariance, autocorrelation, power spectral density and many such parameters. They are all the statistical parameters which are required to understand the concept of noise in the future. So now, after understanding the basics required to understand the chapter, now let us explain what is the meaning of noise. So you might have heard till now in many of the experiments or wherever you come across the communication system, you have experienced that there is noise in your speech. It is not audible properly, lot of disturbance is there. So what is this noise actually in communication system? See, noise is in electrical sense, with respect to electrical sense. Okay, noise can be in various domains, but because we are in electronics and communication, noise is nothing but in electrical sense. It is an unwanted form of electrical signals. Correct only, no? Why do we call it as noise? Because it is unwanted. So noise can be called as unwanted form of electrical signals. It is an unwanted form of electrical. It's also electrical signal only, but it is of unwanted form. All your speech signal, whatever the message signal you have in communication, everything is your wanted signal, which is required, which carries some information. This noise signal is also electrical signal, but it is not carrying any information. Instead of carrying any information, it will superimpose on the message signal and it will alter the original message signal, and it will produce a disturbance or some error. Like this it will produce on the original message signal. That's why noise can be called as unwanted form of electrical signal. And this noise always tends to interfere with the proper and easy reception of desired signals. Correct? No. Whatever you transmit, whenever you receive it using a receiver, this noise will be introduced either in the communication channel, or the noise can be introduced in the receiver or transmitter itself. You know that you have a communication system, the three components. Transmitter will transmit the channel through an antenna, and then you have a receiver system. This receiver will receive the signal through a receiving antenna. Okay, this medium can be either a wired medium or a wireless medium, which can be called as a channel. So noise can be introduced in transmitter itself, or the noise can be introduced in your communication channel, or the noise can be introduced in the receiver itself. Okay, so they are nothing but the unwanted form of electrical signals which interfere into the proper reception of your communication signals. And in radio receivers, assume that you have a radio receiver, okay, in radio station. How the noise will look like in the radio station? It will look like if you are hearing using a speaker or earphones, the noise will look like a hiss sound. It will be like a harsh sound or hiss type of sound you will listen. And if you consider a TV signal, television signal, how does you categorize the noise on the TV? If you are watching any video or a image or a TV signal, then a noise signal is nothing but your entire video signal, the image will become blurred, or it will be like a snow type of image. You'll not get a clean image. You will get a snow type of image superimposed on the picture. So these are some of the noises in real world communication system. Okay, some of the examples of noises in real world. How it looks like, how noise sounds like. That is what I told just now. Now, what is this noise going to do? If a noise is present in a communication system, what it will do? What is the problem of that? See, noise if it is present in a communication system, then what happens? It can alter, it can limit your range of communication system. It can limit the range of communication system. Range means the distance where your message signal can be transferred. That distance will be reduced. If more noise is there, then the distance covered by your message signal will be reduced. So it limits the range of communication system. And one more thing what your noise will do is the proper message signal will not be received, right? The message signal will be disturbed, correct? No. And one more thing your noise can do is the sensitivity of your receivers can be reduced. Sensitivity of receivers, okay, the sensitivity of receivers can be reduced. Sensitivity means if your message signal, whatever you transfer from one point to another point, is highly corrupted by noise, okay, and that noise corrupted message signal is received by the receiver. Some receivers will not be able to reproduce the original message signal only because it is corrupted by noise, okay. So that is nothing but your sensitivity of the receivers. So if the message signal is corrupted by more noise, then the sensitivity of the receiver decreases. So these are all the effects of noise in your communication system. So noise is a bad thing. You should not have that noise, or if you have also, you should do something so that you have to reduce the noise. And in order to reduce the noise and in order to find out how much noise is there in any of the communication system, you should understand about noise and you should understand the mathematical expression of the noise. Okay, what is its mathematical equation, how to represent noise mathematically, all these things you have to learn. And noise is an example of deterministic signal or random signal. Noise is particularly an example of random signals. I told this deterministic and random signals in my previous video lecture. So noise is particularly a random signal whose value you cannot predict. What will come in future, that you cannot predict now only. So that type of signals are called random signals. For any random signals, how do you represent its mathematical equations? By using the concept called as random variable. Random variable, mean, variance, power spectral density, autocorrelation. These are some of the parameters of statistical mathematics which is used for representing a noise. Why it is used for representing noise? Because noise is a random signal. Now there are two major categories of noise. Okay, so let us we understood what is a noise and what is its impact on the communication system. Now we will understand what are the different major classifications of noise. Noise can be classified widely into, first one is external noise. External noise. Okay, and the second classification of noise, it can be called as internal noise. As the name itself indicates, this is the major classification of noise. Noise can be external and internal. External and internal are said with respect to your receiving system. Okay, external noise means whatever the noise which gets added up to your message signal transmitted outside your receiver system, outside your block diagram. Whenever the message signal is there in the free space or in the wired channel, it is outside the receiving system, no? So if any noise is getting added outside the receiver system, then that type of noise is called as external. Okay, it is external to receiver. Instead of to, I can call it as outside the receiver. External noise means the noise comes outside. Okay, this noise comes outside. The noise comes outside to the receiver system. Okay, so wherever outside it comes, that is called as the external noise. Now what is the meaning of internal noise? Again, the name itself indicates. Internal means your receiver system is constructed by what? The receiver can contain amplifier, demodulator, and then filter. So many components can be there inside the receiver. No. So these components are made up of either resistor, capacitor, diodes, BJT, transistor. By using these components only, you can design a receiver system. So if you are using these components like resistor, capacitor, diode, inductor, filter, so these components itself can produce some type of noise. Okay, so such type of noises which are generated inside the receiver system only. Okay, inside your receiver system, because you are using some resistor, capacitor and other device components, those device and components can only produce noise. Okay, such type of noises are called internal noise. So where it comes? It comes inside the receiver system. It comes inside the receiver system only. Internal noise. Whatever the circuits you design for receiver, no, those circuits and components will only produce some of the noise. Such type of noise are called internal noise. Clear? Now what again, this external noise. External noise means it is present in the environment. In our human being earth system, in our earth system there is environment, there is a sky present, and then space present, universe is there. So there are a lot of noises coming from your sky, space and then universe. So any noises which comes other than your receiver and transmitter system, and any noises which comes from the outside environment, earth environment, and those type of noises are called as external noise. So external noise are divided into, again it is divided into atmospheric noise. Okay, so external noise is again divided into atmospheric noise, and then one more thing, it is also divided into the second component as extraterrestrial noise. Extraterrestrial noise. And one more thing, it is also divided to industrial noise. Okay, industrial noise, or you can also call this industrial noise as man-made noise or human made noise. Okay, so these are the topics under this external noise you have. All these topics are like just short notes or definitions. Only about that you have to write some theory. So external noise are classified into three things: atmospheric noise, extraterrestrial noise and industrial noise. So what do you mean by atmospheric noise? See, the noises which comes from the atmosphere. Atmosphere in the sense it can be sky, okay, or it can be the atmosphere. There are many layers in the atmosphere, no? So any noises which are produced from this atmospheric layers are called atmospheric noise. So the main one example what I can give for this is lightning. Whatever the noise come from your lightning, right? Okay, so lightning, you know that lightning is produced, okay, and because of this lightning you are going to get a thunderstorm, correct? No, thunderstorm. First lightning will come and then the sound, thunderstorm sound will come, and it is a huge noise. These noises are in some form of electrical form. Okay, so this lightning, whatever produced in the natural environment, it is of electrical form. So because of this electrical form, it is like a noise signal. It is like a electrical noise signal which interferes into the communication system. Whatever the mobile communication you transmit onto the space, so all your mobile data, mobile communications are in the space. So immediately when a lightning or a thunderstorm comes, it produces a huge amount of electrical noise into your communication system, into your communication signals, which whatever signals which are present on the atmosphere, that will be altered, that will be corrupted by this lightning or the thunderstorm. Okay, so that is why many people have observed, if you have a DTH cable system television, whenever it starts to rain or whenever it starts to starts to produce lightning, immediately the connection will turn off from your satellite system to your DTH receiver. So immediately it will be turned off. So why it happens whenever it starts raining or it starts lightning? Because of this only. So it is your DTH system is very less sensitive, so it cannot receive such a highly noise corrupted signal. So whenever the lightning starts or the rain starts, immediately the connection will be disconnected from your satellite to your DTH cable system. So that is your atmospheric noise. These atmospheric noise occur from your lightning discharges of thunderstorms, and it will be like your impulses. So lightning will just come in a within fraction of second, and then it produces a intense energy and then it disappears. No. So it is like your impulse signal. Because of this impulse signal, it occupies a huge spectrum in the frequency domain. Okay, you know that any signal will have time domain and frequency domain. So even the noise will have time domain signal and frequency domain signal. Okay, and because this time domain signal of atmospheric noise, lightning noise, is a impulse signal, when you convert that to frequency domain, the impulse noise or atmospheric noise will occupy a larger bandwidth. Okay, because of this larger bandwidth, whatever you transfer on the same frequency will be affected by that noise. Okay, assume that you are transmitting a signal in this band, say for example 10 megahertz to 100 megahertz. You are transmitting some information in the space. Suddenly there is a lightning occurs. Okay, because of this lightning there is a noise, and that noise is present in 10 mega to 100 megahertz region only. Okay, so what happens when the noise comes? So noise is superimposed. Noise is a random signal. The noise is superimposed on your signal transmitted in that bandwidth. Okay, signal is transmitted from 10 mega to 100 mega, but your noise is present from where to where? Assume that noise is present from 20 megahertz to 80 megahertz. Okay, and your 20 mega to 80 mega, there is also a signal present, and at 20 mega to 80 megahertz there is also a noise present. So this noise and signal will be added together, and your message signal, speech signal will be corrupted. Okay, so that is about atmospheric noise. Now coming to this extraterrestrial noise, what is the meaning of this extraterrestrial noise? This extraterrestrial noise, name itself indicates extraterrestrial means other than atmosphere, like space. In the space, what are the different stars you have? Sun is one big star, and then there are several stars also, several small stars also you have. So whatever the noises which comes from your sun and then stars, you know that sun and stars are your heat bodies, temperature bodies. So whatever, because of that high temperature of sun and stars, whatever the noise which are produced by sun and stars, those electrical noises are called as extraterrestrial noise. Okay, and even your noise which comes from sun or the stars can be called as it is specially this extraterrestrial noise can again, it is specially classified like this. Let me delete this. So extraterrestrial noise can be again classified as a solar noise. Okay, and then it is again another classification is cosmic noise. Extraterrestrial noise is again classified into solar noise and cosmic noise. As I told, the solar noise is the noise which comes from sun. So this noise produced by sun's heat radiation also occupies huge bandwidth. And what is the meaning of cosmic noise? The cosmic noise are the noise which comes from stars. Usually the cosmic noise will be lesser compared to solar noise because the stars are at very large distance from Earth compared to sun. Okay, and now coming to the third classification of external noise. So this can be called as industrial noise or human-made noise, or it can also be called as man-made noise. So what is this industrial noise? Industrial noise is you have industrial areas like in Pune, one industrial area is there. Everywhere, wherever the city you go, there is one industrial area. So why they are particularly maintaining a area called industrial area other than the residential area for all industries? Because in industries huge noise will be created, and these noises which are coming from the industry will be due to what? Industry noise. They are due to the noise generated in industry, such as your automobile, aircraft ignition, electric motors, switching gear, leakage from high voltage lines, and you have other electric machines present in your industry, and you have fluorescent lights. You remember whatever fluorescent lights used in your home also, those fluorescent lights are the one powerful source of man-made noise. Okay, so whatever the radiation produced by your fluorescent lights, those also produce your noise, and those noise are called as industrial noise. Whatever the noise which are produced in industry, electric motor running, and then ignition, and then huge noise. If you go for any of the NAL and IAL where they test the spacecraft and other things, spacecraft and aeroplanes, everything they will manufacture and test, in such industries you will be having huge amount of noise. So these are all the noise which comes externally. Externally means other than your communication system, other than your transmitter and receiver. Any other noise in the environment, in the Earth's environment, is called external noise. So now coming to internal noise. Okay, we will take up this internal noise separately, and then we will see in the next page. Internal noise, yeah. So what about internal noise? Now what is the meaning of internal noise and what are the classification of internal noise? Let us learn. See, this internal noise, as I told, these are the noise which comes or which are generated inside the receiver system. Inside the receiver system generated, and they are the noise which are generated by the electronic components what you are using to design the receiver system. So these are the internal noise, are the noise which are generated by the electronic components used in receiver. Electronic components used in the receiver. Okay, and that is why it is called internal, because the noise is generated internally in the receiver system. If you are using a filter, or if you are using a band pass filter, or if you are using an amplifier, whatever the diodes and resistors you use for designing of those filters and amplifiers in the receiver, those diodes and transistor will only generate the noise. Okay, such type of noise are called internal noise. And why these noises will be generated, how the resistor will generate a noise, how the diode will generate a noise, let us learn that how diode or how BJT, how resistor will generate noise. Let us learn that by taking the subdivisions of internal noise. So this internal noise is again subdivided into many noises. The first noise is flicker noise. Internal noise is again divided into 5 components. Flicker noise. Second one is partition noise. Partition noise. Third one is short noise. And fourth one is thermal noise. And the last one, fifth one, is white noise. See, these are all some of the different types of noises, internal noises. Okay, internal noise is divided into 5 classification: flicker, partition, short. It is not short. Okay, it is SHOT only. Short noise, thermal noise, white noise. Okay, now we will understand what are each and every terms in detail. See, the flicker noise is nothing but the low frequency noise. This flicker noise is nothing but the low frequency noise. Whenever there is a low frequency is like less than a few kilohertz. If you have noise at low frequency less than kilohertz, then this type of noise can be called as flicker noise. How this flicker noise will come? See, this flicker noise will come in vacuum tubes. See, before BJT and all, the first transistor before BJT was your vacuum tube only. Okay, so your vacuum tube is the first transistor before all your silicon diode transistor semiconductor devices. Vacuum tube was used to work like a transistor. So in this vacuum tube, how it works? Here the electrons will be emitted, cathode will emit the electrons and anode will receive the electrons, like that. The working operation of vacuum tube is like that. Let us not go deeper into it. So your vacuum tube, because there is a movement of electrons, you are going to get the low frequency noise, and which is called as flicker noise. And in semiconductor diode also, because of the electrons movement, you are going to call when during low frequency, the electrons movement in low frequency is called flicker noise. Now coming to the partition noise. What is the meaning of a partition? See, the name itself indicates these are the noises which are generated. These are the noises which are generated when there is a current. Okay, splitting into branches. Current splitting into branches. Okay, so when there is a current like this in the main branch, and if the main current is splitting into 2 or more branches, and during that splitting, how current moves? Whenever the electron is moving, that itself is nothing but current, no? So when the electron is getting partitioned into first branch, second branch and third branch in the circuit, in such a type of partitioning of electrons will produce a small amount of noise called as partition noise. So partition noise is a noise occurs when current is getting partitioned or division into 2 or more paths in your circuit. So such type of random current fluctuations, whenever it is getting partitioned in the branches, produces a noise called partition noise. Okay, now coming to this short noise. Short noise is at most important. They will ask, these 3 are very important: short noise, thermal noise and white noise. They can ask with a relevant equations and a diagram, explain or write a brief note or write a short note on short noise, write a short note on thermal noise. Like this they can ask for 5 marks. So let us learn what is the short noise, what are the equations of short noise in detail, because it is of very important question. This short noise is a very important question for 5 marks. They can ask, simply write a brief note on short noise. Like this they can ask the question. So this, what is this short noise? It is a type of internal noise only, and how it is generated, it is arised by your electronic components whatever you are using in the receiver system. Okay, because of that electronic components this short noise is arised, and that is why it is called as internal noise. Okay, so assume that you have a semiconductor diode, and in that diode what happens, how the working happens inside, there will be p-n junction. Because of p, whenever you provide a voltage, what happens to the diode p-n junction? It generates electrons, correct? No, and whatever this electrons are generated, either it can be electron generation or it can be hole generation. Either in the p-n junction you can generate the electron, or you can generate a positron. Positron can also be called as hole, H-O-L-E. So because of this electron and hole generations, it keeps moving. No, it generates and moves from p type to n type in a diode. I'm talking about a semiconductor diode. And whenever it is moving, the electron will diffuse. So assume you have a p type of, here it is a p type and n type. Whatever the electrons or the holes generated here, that will diffuse into n type. From p type it will diffuse into n type. Okay, so this diffusion of electrons or holes in semiconductor devices like diode or transistor, BJT transistors, where whenever the electrons diffuses, such type of diffusion of electrons into holes causes a particular type of noise. That type of noise is called as short noise. Okay, whenever the electrons or the holes which are generated and it diffuses from one area to another area, that will generate a type of noise called as short noise. And even this short noise can also occur in vacuum tubes also. Okay, it can be present in semiconductor diodes also, it can be present in vacuum tubes also. Okay, and how, if you take this short noise and if you amplify and give it to a loudspeaker, how this sounds like? This short noise will sound like, assume that you have small lead pieces. Okay, if you take the small lead pieces and hit it onto a plate, iron plate, take a small lead pieces and hit it hard onto a iron plate, what type of noise you will get? You will get a sharp you will get a sharp loud noise. No, if you take a small lead ball, and that lead ball, if you hit it hard onto a iron plate, what type of noise you can imagine? That type of sharp noise, your short noise will look like that type of short noise. Okay, that's why the name, it is called as a short. So it is like particular shot. You take a lead ball and then give it a shot onto the iron plate, what type of noise you will get? So that will be your short noise. Okay, so this is what you need to write. If they ask for short noise, you should tell short noise is a type of internal noise and it is generated by the internal electronic components used inside the receiver, and it can occur in vacuum tubes and semiconductor devices when the electrons or holes which are generated and when it gets diffused from one area to another area. This movement of electron causes short noise. Okay, and how short noise sounds like? It sounds like lead shots striking on a metal plate. That's why the name it is called as short noise. Okay, now consider let us take a vacuum tube and we'll write some equations. There are no derivation for the equations, but you should remember the equations and write down. If they ask for 5 marks, you have to mention the equations also. So now consider you have a vacuum tube like this See, the vacuum tube contains a plate. It contains a plate, or it can be called as anode terminal. And then after the plate, it contains a cathode. Okay. Another plate is there. Another plate can be called as cathode terminal. Okay. And there will be a heater, because it is called vacuum tube. So you should give a heat. So this is a heater. So this entire thing is your vacuum. Vacuum will be present here. So this is your heater. So when this heater heats the vacuum, okay, what happens? Your cathode will produce electrons. And whatever the cathode which produces electrons, those electrons will move towards your anode, and it will be collected in the anode. Okay. So whatever the electrons which are generated by cathode, those electrons move, and anode will absorb this electrons. Okay. So let us not worry in detail about the working operation of this vacuum diode. Okay. Simply let us understand the basics of that. Okay. Let us not in detail go about vacuum tube. So this is a temperature limited vacuum tube. Now see, whatever the noise generated by your electron movement from cathode to anode, that is called as your short noise. Okay. And what is noise will be in one or the other form of electrical format. No. So what is the electrical form of the noise? Current. Whenever the electron moves from one place to another place, will you not get the current? Yes. And because of that current, and this current is because of what? Because of electron movement. Electron movement is called as what? Short noise. So because of short noise, you are going to get a current. Correct? So what is that current called as? Let me call the current as ISN. I stands for current. SN stands for short noise current. Noise current. Because of short noise only, you are going to get a small current in your vacuum tube. Okay. That short noise current generated only because of short noise is called as ISN. Okay. Now, what is the mean square value of short noise? As I told in the previous video lecture, for any of your random variable, you have to always consider a mean square value, like that you have to consider. Okay, because all these noises are random variables, and for any random variables you have to always consider either mean or mean square value or variance. Like this you have to take. Okay, so let me consider mean square value now, because short noise is a random variable. It is a random signal. That is why I am calculating mean square value. So mean square value of short noise current. Mean square value of short noise current is given by what is the value of mean square value for the short noise current? See, mean square value means always you have to take I square, because then in the name itself you have mean square. That's why. So mean square value of short noise current, ISN square, is given by 2 into Q capital I into Bn. So there is no derivation. You have to simply remember the equation. When they ask for short notes, you have to write down. Okay, mean square value of the short noise current. This current is only because of short noise. It's given by 2QIBN, where Q stands for your electron charge. You know what is electron charge? 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs electron charge. And then what is Bn? B suffix n, it stands for noise bandwidth. Each noise is also a signal, no? And each signal will have frequency domain characteristics. So in frequency domain, whatever the bandwidth you get for noise, that is your Bn. So Bn stands for noise bandwidth. Unit is hertz. Noise bandwidth, B suffix n. And what is capital I? This capital I stands for the mean value of current. Mean value of current. Okay, I means mean value, I square means mean square value of the noise current. Okay, simply you need to write this expression and then you have to mention what is that each and every term stands for. Okay, now can I, what is that I can write the noise equivalent diagram. So I am going to write the short noise equivalent model. Your short noise is represented by using a current, no? So I can represent the model for short noise. What is the model for short noise? I can represent, because it is represented as a current, I can write a current source. What is the value of this current source? ISN. Okay, ISN square, mean square value. ISN square means mean square value. Mean square value. And this current is there, and you have a negligible small resistor R, like this you have. So this is your model for your short noise. Okay, a current in parallel with a resistance R. So this also you need to write if it is asked for 5 marks. 5 marks for short noise, you have to write all these things. And how your noise signal looks like, short noise, if you sketch it in time domain, your short noise signal looks like this. Some random signal, random sinusoidal type of signal it looks like. Okay, this is your short noise, it looks like this. And how your short noise looks in frequency domain. In frequency domain, my signal in frequency domain, for any random signal, what is frequency domain called as? Power spectral density. Okay, for any random signal, frequency domain is called as power spectral density. So power spectral density is represented as S of F, and this power spectral density is for current. No, I am writing the power spectral density of current, so that's why I'll write the suffix as I. SI of F. SI of F. So for your short noise, how this power spectral density or the frequency domain of noise looks like? It looks like this. Like this it keeps going. Okay, it looks like this. And your noise will be present from 0 Hz to 80 megahertz. Your short noise will be present from 0 Hz to 80 megahertz. See what is the wide range, bandwidth of this noise is very wide. Okay, what is the meaning of this bandwidth of the noise? From 0 to 80 megahertz. If whatever you are transmitting, either mobile communication or TV communication or radio communication, all the communication channel signals will come in this range only. And your signals is also present there, and your short noise is also present there. So what happens? It gets corrupted. The message signal will get corrupted. That is the meaning of bandwidth. Okay, noise, short noise contains very huge bandwidth. That is why inside that noise bandwidth, all your communication channel message signals are transmitted. So the message signals will be distorted because of short noise. So this much you need to write if they ask about short noise. Now let us learn about the last, after short noise what was there? After short noise, next is thermal noise. So let us learn about thermal noise. So this is also important. They can ask together thermal noise and then short noise together. They can ask for 10 marks. Write short notes on thermal noise and short noise. They can ask for 10 marks. Okay. So now what is the meaning of thermal noise? As the name itself indicates, this thermal means temperature, heat. Correct? No. So you will be using some components in your circuits called as resistors. Correct? So this thermal noise is mainly because of the components like resistors. Okay, whatever the resistor, however they have manufactured, inside resistors what will happen? Because of high current flow in the resistor for long time, your resistors will get heated up, right? When the resistors get heated up, whatever the free electrons present inside the resistor, assume that you have a resistor like this. This is a resistor terminal, first terminal, second terminal, and there will be some electrons here, okay, which are free electrons will be present. If you keep sending the current through this resistor, what happens? The resistor becomes heated up. The resistor becomes heated, and because when you heat any material, what happens to the free electrons inside the material? The free electrons will be heated up and it will start jumping here and there. Whatever the free electrons are there, when you heat, the free electrons will start jumping from here to there, here to there. What happens when the electrons moves in a random way? However it wants, it will move. The free electrons, when the free electrons move in a random way, what happens? You will get a random current. Okay, when the electron moves, you get a current only, no? So when your random movement of free electrons because of heat in the resistor creates a random current. Okay, it creates a random current. This random current is called as, this random current created by the random movement of free electrons because of temperature of the resistor is called as thermal noise. Is called as thermal noise, and it is so, and thermal noise is always present inside a resistor. Because of a resistor, you will use so many resistors now to design the receiver, and because of this resistors you can get a thermal noise occupied into your message signal. Now what is the power spectral density of this thermal noise? Let us write. Previously for short noise we wrote current, mean square value of current. Now instead of writing the mean square value of current, now we are going to write the power spectral density. We are going to write the power spectral density equation of current. Which current? The current due to thermal noise. The current due to thermal noise. Okay, so what is the equation? As I told, there is no derivation. You have to directly remember the equation and write down when you are asked in the question. So the power spectral density of current, that's why I am writing the notation as I here. Okay, SI of F for thermal noise is given by 2 K T G divided by 1 plus 2 pi F by alpha whole square. You should remember there is no derivation for this. The power spectral density is given by capital SI of F. Power spectral density means spectrum, noise spectrum, correct? SI of F is nothing but thermal noise spectrum. The thermal noise spectrum. So this power spectral density is given by 2 K Tg by 1 plus 2 pi F by alpha whole square. We should understand there is no derivation. You should only understand what is each and every term here. So here K represents Boltzmann constant. K represents Boltzmann constant, and capital T represents absolute temperature. Capital T represents absolute temperature, and the unit will be in terms of degree Kelvin. Absolute temperature in degree Kelvin. And capital G represents conductance. Okay, this is your conductance of resistor. You know that the conductance of a resistor is nothing but 1 divided by resistance only. So G means conductance of resistor, and alpha indicates the average number of collisions per second. Whose collisions? Of electrons. Okay, I told you when the resistor is heated up because of the high current flow in the resistor, the free electrons starts moving here and there and it starts colliding with each other. Okay, that collisions, how many number of such collisions will happen inside, we don't know. Okay, and on an average, let us call alpha is an average number of collisions of electrons per second. In 1 second, how many such collisions of electrons will happen? Approximately, you are going to get the collisions as 10 to the power 14. See, such a high value. Approximately on an average, in 1 second, 10 to the power 14 number of collisions will happen. Okay, it is a very huge value. You don't know how many free electrons will be there. Okay, inside a resistor, huge number of electrons will be there. So how many number of collisions will happen inside electrons? On an average, it is 10 to the power 14. So alpha is very huge, no? Because alpha is very huge value, what happens to this 2 pi f divided by alpha? Alpha is very huge value. So 2 pi f divided by alpha will be very, very lesser value. Because this 2 pi f divided by alpha whole square is very, very lesser value, can I neglect this term at all? I can neglect this term, right? So what is the left out if you neglect this entire term? 1. So what is the simplified expression of power spectral density? Power spectral density of current due to thermal noise. Due to thermal noise is given by 2 kTg. Okay, that's all. What happened to denominator? In the denominator, because alpha number of collisions of electrons is very huge value, because of that huge value, the denominator is approximately equal to 1. Okay, alpha is there in the denominator. Okay, so 2 pi f by alpha will be very, very small. And that very, very small number is added to 1 means you are going to get 1 only approximately. So in the denominator, you have 1. Numerator is left out, 2k T into G. So this is the simplified expression for power spectral density of your thermal noise, for a thermal noise. Now we will see the power spectral density for current you have seen. Okay, previously what did you see? You saw power spectral density of current. Now let us see whether can we write the equation for power spectral density of voltage. We will see that. So what is the power spectral density of voltage? The power spectral density of voltage due to thermal noise. Due to thermal noise is given by SV of F. Okay, previously I wrote suffix as I because it's for current. Now I am writing for voltage. SV of F is equal to R square into SI of F. Okay, the power spectral density of voltage is nothing but resistance square into power spectral density of current. This is the formula. You know that voltage is equal to resistance into current, right? So only thing is power, because it is power, resistance you have taken it as R square. Okay, now voltage is equal to R into I. That is why you have taken SV is equal to R into SI. Why R square is written? Because it is a power spectral density. For power you have to write resistance square. That's why. And now if you substitute and simplify, what is SV of F you are going to get? You will get this SV of F value as after substituting you will get 2K into TR. You will get like this. After SI of F you substitute R square, and I'll show it here if you want. So you substitute R square into 2KTG. Okay, so what is G? G can be written as 1 divided by R. R square into 2KT divided by R. Okay, G is written as 1 divided by R. So R cancel and you are left with SV of F is equal to 2kTr. SV stands for power spectral density of voltage due to thermal noise. Now from this you have to calculate what is the mean square value from this. Okay, so there is no derivation for you. Directly I am going to write the mean square value of voltage. I am going to write the mean square value of voltage. Let us not write for the current. Okay, I am going to write the mean square value of voltage due to thermal noise. Okay, first I wrote power spectral density, next I wrote voltage power spectral density. Now I am writing the mean square value of voltage due to thermal noise. So voltage is represented by E. I am taking E as the notation for voltage. Because this is the voltage because of noise, I am writing the suffix as N. Okay, why suffix N is written? Because it is a voltage due to thermal noise. That is why N I am writing. N represents noise. And it is mean square. Because it is mean square, I am going to write it as En square, voltage square. Mean square. Square means what? For voltage you have to take square. Okay, so En square after derivation you are going to get it as 4kTRBN. Is it clear? So this derivation is not there, only you need to remember the formula to solve the problems. Numericals will be asked, problems will be there. So to solve problems you have to remember this. So this is what? This is noise voltage. Noise voltage square. It is not voltage, it is voltage square. Then what is voltage given by? The noise voltage is given by square root of 4kTRB suffix N. Okay, this the unit is here volts square, and here the unit is only volts. Now I will tell what is this each and every term. You know what is K, correct? No, K is Boltzmann constant. T means absolute temperature. R means the resistance value. Okay, R means resistance value. Bn stands for noise bandwidth. Every noise will have its own bandwidth. Okay, thermal noise will also have the bandwidth, short noise will also have the bandwidth. So Bn stands for noise bandwidth of thermal noise. Bn stands for noise bandwidth of thermal noise. Now remember the Boltzmann constant K is given by 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 joules per Kelvin. Okay, this you have to remember, 1.38 into 10 power minus 23. If any numericals is asked, then you can use the formula and you can use this K value, and then you can simplify to find the answer. Okay, so now so lastly I am going to write the expression for current now. Till now we wrote the mean square value of voltage. Now let me write the mean square value of current. So mean square value of current due to thermal noise. Mean square value of current due to thermal noise is given by, you are going to get it as In square is equal to 4kTGBN. Only difference between this formula and this formula is, instead of R you have to put G. G stands for conductance, 1 divided by R. That is the only difference. Okay, you should remember that. Now finally let me write the model. Noise. Okay, which noise? Thermal noise. Thermal noise model. Thermal noise model. So how to represent this thermal noise model? Okay, you have a resistor with you, and because of this resistor you got a voltage. What is that voltage? En square. Okay, this is a voltage. And what is this voltage called as? This is called as thermal noise voltage. Thermal noise voltage. This is your normal resistor. Okay, and if you have like this, you can also convert this into a current source. Correct? in parallel with a resistance value. This is your resistance, and what is this current source now? IN square. IN square stands for thermal noise current. Okay, so any single resistor can be modeled as, because of thermal noise, any single resistor can be modeled as a resistor in series with a extra voltage called as thermal noise voltage, En square. And similarly, a resistor in series with voltage source can also be called as a current source in parallel with a resistor. This is your thermal noise model for a resistor. Okay, now what happens if you take a series resistor and parallel resistor? So this much you need to write. If they ask short notes about thermal noise, you have to write till here, till the thermal noise model. You have to write this circuit, and then some of the equations and explanation about thermal noise. For 5 marks you have to write. Okay, now one additional thing we will see for solving problems. If there are resistors in series, what is the formula for calculating thermal noise? If there are resistors, in series like this, if you have a series resistor and then you have a noise voltage, and you have one more series resistor, and then you have a noise voltage. Let me call this noise voltage as En1 square and this as En2 square. This is your resistor R1 and resistor R2. They both are in series only, no? Okay, you don't worry about whatever is there in between. Resistor R1 and R2 are connected in series. So what you can write it as, the total series equivalent resistance can be written as R1 plus R2. RS stands for series equivalent resistance. Now what is the expression for noise voltage? En square is given by 4kT RS Bn. Okay, previously I wrote it only R. Now I am writing it as RS. RS stands for the series resistance, R1 plus R2. That's all. Okay, now what is the total noise square is given by the total voltage is given by what? There are two noise voltages present in the series. One is En1 and En2. So the total noise voltage is given by En square is equal to En1 square plus En square is equal to En1 square plus En2 square. This is your total noise voltage of series resistor in series. Similarly, tell me for the resistors in parallel, same expression, but for parallel combinations you have to use the parallel equation. So assume that you have a voltage source here like this. You have En1 square and in series you have a resistor R1. There is another voltage source called as En2 square, and you have resistors R2 in parallel. So this R1 resistor and R2 resistors are in parallel to each other, no? So how to calculate the equivalent parallel resistance? 1 by Rp is given by, Rp means equivalent resistance, 1 divided by R1 plus 1 divided by R2. Okay, only I am showing the example only for two resistor values, that's all. Now what is the expression, final expression for noise voltage? Noise voltage mean square value En square. If I am writing square of En, then it is mean square value of noise voltage. So En square is given by 4kT Rp Bn. Bn means noise bandwidth. Rp, which one you have to substitute? Rp means the equivalent parallel resistance value that you have to substitute. Okay, so these two are the series and parallel resistance concepts which will be used for your problems Problems can be simple. They will give capital T, they will give what is R1, R2, they will give what is noise bandwidth. You need to simply calculate the mean square value of the noise voltage. From that you have to calculate the mean square value of the current, and then you have to calculate what is the noise voltage by taking square root. So like this simple problems will be asked.